All right, I hope everybody's enjoying the food, enjoying the open bar. All right, so you guys know I'm just the executive vice president, and when the president tells you to do something, you just do it. So at this point in the program, I'd like to introduce the New York State Young Dem president, my friend Mike Corbett.
Hold on, this isn't about me yet.
It's always about you.
Thank you, Sam. I'm up here because I specifically asked to introduce this next individual, and because he's a friend, and he's become one of my most amazing friends in politics, and that's Tom DiNapoli. So we created this award called the FDR Trailblazer Award, and it's specifically to somebody who started their career in politics early, like FDR when he was elected in 1910, was a young Democrat when he was first elected to the state Senate. Eventually became President of the United States. You might have heard of him. He's from Dutchess County. So from 1910, we're going to... Hold on. I'm not getting honored yet, guys. Don't worry about it. So in 2007, we're going to fast forward to 2007 from 1910. Two things happened. One was kind of minor, and that was I got involved in politics in 2007. The other, much more important, is Tom DiNapoli became our 54th Comptroller of the state of New York. So he's celebrating his 10-year anniversary in that job right now. And he's accomplished some amazing things, and I always like to thank Tom specifically for one thing. Thank you for the unclaimed funds. I really appreciate it. Now, of all the elected officials out there, there is no one who has been a better friend to young Democrats than Tom DiNapoli. He will literally come to anything you ask him to, and it's not because he's trying to score brownie points, it's because he really believes in the mission of this organization. And that's not surprising, because Tom DiNapoli was elected for the first time at the age of 18 to the Mineola School Board. So he knows how important it is for young Democrats to get involved, to run for office, and maybe one day the next Comptroller is in this room today. He is our FDR Trailblazer Award winner for 2017 and our keynote speaker for this gala, the 54th Comptroller of the state of New York, Tom DiNapoli.
Wow! New York State Young Democrats! You are fired up! Your executive VP, Tom Myers, said, I'm going to go out there and get some food now. Take as much time as you want to talk. So, but he's a great MC, isn't he? Tom, you're great. Give him a round of applause for what he's doing. It is great to be with all of you and great to feel the enthusiasm and the energy in this room for our party. Thank you all for the great work that each and every one of you do. I'm very proud that, like Assemblywoman Barrett, I've got some young Dems helping me out these days. Matt Martini just joined our staff. Caitlin Israelski has joined our staff as well. And many of you know Jamie Zeno, who also has done a great job for a long time on behalf of our party. It is a privilege for me to receive this award named for FDR and to be your keynoter. I'll try not to be too long because I tell you, you've had some great speakers already, and I wasn't here earlier, but I heard one of our honorees who couldn't be here tonight who spoke earlier, Assemblymember Michael Blake. He really brought the house down, didn't he? Yeah. He's a great, great Assembly member, National Vice Chair of our party. What does that tell you about what New Yorkers can do? And Basil, help me, right? Grace Mang is the vice chair? Yes. And we claim Tom Perez because he was from Buffalo? Yes. And the treasurer. So New York, we're doing pretty good with this, with the National Dems, right? Woo! Give New York a round of applause for that. Where would we be without our great county chairs that do a great job to welcome young Democrats, support the chapters? We're really, really delighted that Kristen Zabrowski-Stavisky could be here all the way from Rockland County. Give her another round of applause. And and we heard from the great Elisa Sumner, but what you didn't know, what you didn't know, is tomorrow's her birthday, yet she's spending Saturday night with the Young Democrats. Happy birthday, Elisa! Thank you to Basil Smikle, or however you pronounce his name. He does a great job as executive director of our state party. He is an inspiration. He looks out for all of us. He cares about the Young Democrats. Thank you, Basil, for everything you do, for giving us great words. We appreciate that very, very much. Assemblymember Dee Dee Barrett, she truly is one of the stars in Albany, and no surprise, she is really, really supportive of providing access for Young Democrats to the political process. Assemblywoman, it's great to be with you. We're in your district, right?
No, just outside.
We're just outside. Well, for tonight, we're in your district. Give Dee Dee Barrett a round of applause as well for everything she has done. It's really hard to know what to say when you're asked to be a keynote at an event like this, where you've had great discussions going on. And I really feel strongly that the keynote is not so much anything I'm going to share with you. It's really the acknowledgement that you're giving to all of your wonderful honorees. Because their work on behalf of the Young Democrats, on behalf of making change for good for our communities through the Democratic Party, that really is the keynote. It's not anything I can say. And I can't think of anybody more deserving of being honored this year as your Man of the Year than someone who, for me as well, has become a very close personal friend, but more importantly, someone who truly has put his heart and soul into this organization. So many of you make the Young Dems the great organization that it is, but I think you'll all agree with me. You have never had a better president than Mike Corbett. He really has done so much. He's the Man of the Year every year. Give him a round of applause. We'll acknowledge him when he gets that award, but thank you, Michael, for everything you've done. It really, really has been extraordinary. Assemblymember Blake, who couldn't be here, Amanda Pizzuti, we have with Italian names, right? Amanda, thank you for your great work as well. I know you're going to be acknowledged. Yeah, give a round of applause. Chris Smith may be claimed by one county, but he actually grew up in Nassau County, where I'm from. I know Chris a long time. Thank you, Chris, for everything you've done. Justin Westbrook Lowry, I know him a long time, and boy, isn't he great? We all love him. And our labor leader, Michelle Gilliam, thank you for reminding us of the important connection with labor on all these issues and for giving us very powerful words. Give Michelle another round of applause as well. So we're living in challenging times. The election didn't turn out as we wanted or expected. The country is divided. Our party has been divided. It's almost like we can't believe it's happening. Now, I'm a young at heart Democrat now. I'm not necessarily a young Democrat by age anymore. But when I was 18 and had my first vote, the times were very similar to what we're going through right now. We had a contentious moment in our nation's history. We had a big fight on a host of issues: civil rights, the beginning of the women's movement, what was then called the gay liberation movement, the environment movement, worker rights, especially the farm workers, big issue, and the Vietnam War. When I was a teenager and about to turn 18, it was great because I could anticipate you could buy a beer, you could buy a drink. But you had to be 21 to vote. We've reversed that, right? But you know why many of us argued that 18-year-olds Do 21-year-olds should be allowed to vote? Draft. When I was 15, 16, 17, I knew I had to register for the draft. And we knew folks in the neighborhood, guys, back then the only guys were being drafted. And we knew some of them were sent off to fight in a war that most of us didn't support. And we had the experience very close to home. It's one thing when you watch on TV, you know, and they read the casualty numbers. It's something else when the brother of one of your friends gets killed and comes home in a box. So we got very active and said, young people have to try to save this country and turn things around. You know, it's interesting, today's May 6th, right? You know, one of the defining days for me in terms of being a young person was on May 4th, 1970. Anybody know our history, what happened May 4th? Kent State. 4 students, including one from Long Island, college students, on a college campus, Kent State University in Ohio, demonstrating against that war. Things got out of hand. Guardsmen, who were probably the same age as those students, fired bullets. 4 students dead. You know what it's like to be sitting there as a young person starting to pay attention to what's going on, and you're seeing students on a college campus getting killed by other young people. Democratic convention, very contentious. Party had been split for a long time. Party was split badly in 1968, the first election where I kind of was paying attention as a 14-year-old. Robert Kennedy, my hero, shot dead. Couldn't even get to the convention after he won the California primary. Big fight between reformers and regulars, as we called it back then. The party didn't really heal. The regulars prevailed in 68. We lost that election. 72, the reformers prevailed. George McGovern was nominated, lost that election, ended up with Richard Nixon another time. Of course, he didn't last very long after 72. But I say all this to just give you the context of when I was a young Democrat. And I chose, with everything going on, I said the Democratic Party to me seems to be the party that is open for discussion about how we make this country better. Are there divisions? Are there internal debates? Is this sometimes hard to get unity? Perhaps. But if there is any vehicle for change, it in fact is the Democratic Party. Now, my Republican parents weren't very happy when I made that choice. But that's what led me also this week, May 3rd, 1972. That was the day I was elected to that Board of Education. So 45 years ago, 45 years ago. But that was quite a lesson for me. 18-year-old vote came in. I had my first presidential vote that year. I had the chance to run for a public office. Had that unique experience of my very first vote was for myself. And I won, so I figured I could do this, right? The path hasn't always been that easy. I haven't won every race, but I've never regretted to be engaged in the process, to put myself on the front line as you do, on behalf of our party, on behalf of candidates. You know, why do I choose to continue to be a Democrat, and why do I appreciate this award named for FDR? He had a great, great quote that I often refer to. The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. That's what our party stands for. So when the Republicans repeal the Affordable Care Act, repeal Obamacare, costing billions of dollars to our state, to our hospitals, leaving people exposed, literally people probably dying if this in fact gets through the Senate, that's not the FDR spirit, is it? When they talk about cutting programs to our states and our localities to help people pay for their electric bills, to help community development happen through the block grant program, to help affordable housing and education programs, that's not in the spirit of FDR. Our party is the one that would never stand for a 30% cut in the Environmental Protection Agency, going to jeopardize our clean air and our clean water. So just like in 1972, and in the late 60s, early 70s, when I was getting involved, what have we seen in response to what's been happening? People are back on the streets. The women's marches in the Capitol and all across our country, right? People showing up, even without any organization, at the airports to say the travel ban makes no sense and we are not against immigrants or refugees. That's the grassroots. And when Republican members of Congress are brave enough to hold a town hall meeting, don't the people show up and say how they really feel? That's grassroots involvement. That's what's going on. So that's what we need to tap into. Now look, you're already doing it because you're involved with this organization. We just need you to keep doing it. We as a party need to, and you heard it from our executive director, you've heard it from our county chairs, you've heard it from our elected officials like Dee Dee and Michael Blake, we need to extend an open hand and a strong welcome to you and the young people you represent, that our party is open to you. Not only that, work in the trenches as you do so well. And thanks to all the chapters. And a shout out again to the Manhattan Dems for being Chapter of the Year. But we need you to be ambassadors for our party because you have many contemporaries who maybe they're starting to wake up that you can't be on the sidelines in America anymore. But they're not sure about the Democratic Party. We're not sure about the political process. They may not trust it. But you know what? If we want to take back this country and get it on the right track again, the reality is it has to be through the political system. And the only party that's going to provide access for meaningful change, for young people, for progressive values, to secure our future, it's this party. So my task or challenge to you is twofold. First is the easy one. Keep doing what you're doing. God bless you for how you've been working on behalf of our party. But secondly, for those folks who may be not happy with the Democratic Party, maybe they supported Bernie Sanders and they weren't happy with how things play out. You know what? That election's over now. It's time for us to move forward. For people who aren't affiliated as Democrats, they didn't register in a party, a lot of young people don't register in a party, tell them there is a way to channel their anger. There is a way to channel their frustration. There is a way to channel that disappointment, and it's through the Democratic Party. Be an ambassador for our party, not just to people who are already on our side, but for people who are questioning and looking for the way to make a difference and make change. Not only help candidates, I hope more of you, some of you already have run for office, more of you need to do that. It's not so hard to do, believe me, and there are a lot of us out there that want to help you. So, you inspire me, and I thank you for that. And I'm going to leave you with one more FDR quote, because again, I think it sums up what our party is all about and what our values are all about, and words for us to be guided by for the future. FDR once said, "In our personal ambitions, we are individualists, but in our seeking for economic and political progress as a nation, we all go up or else all go down as one people." Young Democrats of New York, help us to be one party, united, for the greater good of our families and our neighbors, our state and our nation. And with you leading the way and you inspiring all of us, in fact, better days are ahead for our party, for our state, for our nation. And yes, we will make America blue again. Thank you all for this wonderful award.